Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Ark Survival Evolved on the Prov 356 YouTube channel. As you can tell, this is not my normal character. That's because we're doing a learning channel today. A learning episode. We're going to learn about kibble. We're going to learn about kibble because I'm going to start doing some learning episodes on the Prov channel. Before we leave the island, I want to try to tame every creature on the island. But before we can do that, we need to learn about kibble. Because to correctly tame every creature, you gotta have kibble. You don't have to with my rates, and with most rates that people play on, you don't really have to because, well, kibble is not that important. However, on official, and if you're not playing with really high rates, you need kibble if you want to get perfect tame. See how it says level 225? That means it started off as a 150, and it was tamed with kibble. And so it became a 225. Now, in front of you is the 6. I've created 6 places. And with each place is the smallest creature that you can tame to get the kibble to produce that type of kibble. There's 6 levels of kibble, okay? We're going to go through each level, see what you need to produce that kibble. We are playing in creative mode because this is my test server, my test playthrough, not server. It's a single player world on Valguero. You make kibble either in the cooking pot or in the industrial cooker. And on the SS version, it shows you what you need for each kibble. Now, when they were testing the kibble, they made 2 versions. They made the augmented version, which is right here, the simple augmented kibble, and they made the regular version when they finalized the changes they made to it. The augmented version is on the extinction server. You can see that it requires corrupted nodules. When they finalized the changes to the kibble system, they took out the corrupted nodules. You can make the regular kibble on the extinction map and substitute it for the augmented kibble. So you really don't have to worry about the augmented kibble anymore. Just use the regular ones, the simple kibble. So there's 6 tiers of kibble. I know this confuses people because there's some that's the way it's worded. It just doesn't make sense. They should have gone with the same tier rankings as their weapons so that it wouldn't be as confusing to people. And if you ask me, they should redo their weapon rankings, and it should just go like, it should just go like numbers or something. I don't know. Or letters. Or something. They should really redo their tier rankings because the names are kind of confusing. So the first level, the lowest level, is basic. Okay? This is considered extra small kibble. It requires what's considered extra small eggs. And this extra small eggs is produced by, well, I'm not going to name all the creatures because then I'm going to end up naming every creature in the Ark before this video is over, and that's going to be it's just going to give you way too much information. So what you need to make this kibble is in the containers beside them. Of course you need water. I don't have water in each of these containers. This is the smallest creature that you can make. Let me remove this stuff. This is the smallest creature you can make that makes the eggs you need for this kibble. A dodo. Dodo, why are you not looking at us? I need you to look at us, okay? So the basic kibble is the very low tier, okay? What you need to make this kibble right here. Did I put the kibble in each one of these? If not, I'll just spawn it in. I mean, this is a test world, so that way you can see what the kibble itself looks like. Okay, so the basic kibble right here. You need, well, of course we got the dodo eggs because we got dodos right there. You need dodo eggs. You need water. That's kind of self-explanatory. So if you're doing it in the industrial cooker, it already has water because you hook it up to irrigation pipes. But if you're doing it in the cooking pot, you either need water skins, jars, or you need canteens. So be prepared to make some form of water. So you need amara berries. Actually, I can tell you exactly what you need, but the best way to do this, if you don't have the SS version, because the SS version tells you exactly what you need. Crafting, cooking. Okay, so the SS cooking pot and the SS, that's not going to let me place it without a foundation. That's okay. We can just fly up top. Go away. So the SS cooking pot, consumables, crafted foods. This tells you what you need for each individual one. Okay. But if you don't have the SS version and you're just playing without mods, I'm sorry. First off, I'm sorry. You can get a app on your phone called Dododex. They do have a paid version of it. All that does is take away ads, but the free version has all the information that the paid version does. So I would suggest you just get the free version, and then it will tell you what you need for each version of the kibble. This is what you need in it. This is not the amount you need. I just stuck random amounts of each one in. You do not need this preserving salt. I just have it in here so this stuff won't spoil. You need fiber. You need a dodo egg. Well, not a dodo egg. You just need what's considered an extra small egg. Fiber, mijo berries, amara berries, and tinto berries. Now you could pick up one of these eggs randomly through the world, so you could pretty much make the basic kibble just running around in the world picking up the stuff you need, as long as you have a water skin or a water jar. And that will tame most smaller creatures. So let's see if I can remember what all small creatures it can tame. I'm not going to read them all because, like I said, that'll let you tame a parasaur, a perfect tame parasaur. So that would get you started with your first real mount to run around on. Of course, it also let you tame a Dilophosaur dodo, but the main one that you would want on that list is a parasaur. Now the next level up, the smallest dinosaur. Now the reason you would want small dinosaurs is because you're gonna have to make a farm to harvest their eggs to eventually make a kibble farm, unless you have the vivarium, which, unless you've changed it in the INI settings, that requires a tech generator to run, unless you've changed it in the settings. Now the way this thing works is you can add dinos to it. See, we could add the dodo. We could add up to 10 creatures to this, and they will produce eggs inside of it. And then you can just go up to it and pull the eggs out. Including large dinosaurs, like Rexes and whatever. So that way, you don't have to have them around your base. So it contains a whole kibble farm in one little structure. It's pretty unique. It's for the superstructures. They also have a version in the S plus mod. So, moving on up to simple kibble. The smallest dinosaur you can have is a Compy. I know, it's weird that the Compy makes small eggs, and the dodo, which is technically larger, makes extra small eggs. But that's art for you. So for simple kibble, you need of course, compy eggs are one of the other smaller creatures. And like I said, get the Dododex app, and it'll tell you all the creatures that you can tame in that family. So you need cooked fish meat, fiber, mejo berries, and rock carrots. Here's where you have to start doing a farm. You have to start doing a farm unless you're on a map that has rock carrots, like Ragnarok, Valguero, I think, but I'm not 100% certain. I think there's a couple places on Extinction that have rock carrots that you can just pluck out of the ground, but I'm not 100% certain of that. Compies, I believe, spawn on every map. I know dodos spawn on every map. The next level up is regular kibble. Oh yeah, the best creature that you can tame on the list for regular kibble, I mean simple kibble, not regular, simple kibble. Okay, so that lets you tame simple kibble. Actually, that'll let you tame a giant bee, which is very useful. It also lets you tame let me go back to kibble there. That'll let you tame a giant bee, which is very useful, a dolphin, an iguanodon, the moose, the moralitops, and a triceratops and a raptor. So that gives you access to some good low-level mounts, even possibly into late game with the triceratops, because it's knockback. And the iguanodon is very useful for getting around. So, but you do gotta, if you do not have access to free carrots, you gotta start growing carrots. Okay, our next creatures, our next level of kibble is regular kibble. Now these are the two smallest creatures you can tame, Troyodon and an Ichthyosaurus. Now both of these give people the shivers, because Troyodon's, those eyes at night, these things are crazy. They'll knock you out. A pack of these, they give you shivers. And these, most people hate these things. I'm not even gonna make this thing look at me. These things have stolen a lot of my stuff, and these things have killed me a lot. So a lot of people don't like regular kibble simply because these two creatures. But these are the two smallest creatures that you can tame. The turtles are also in this group, so if you don't want to tame one of these two. But out of the regular kibble, you can move up to let's see, regular kibble. That'll let you tame some larger creatures, like an Anki, a Baryonyx, an anglerfish. I mean, those are some good creatures, even a Carno, but, you know, who wants a Carno? And the monkey, Dododex, those are some really good creatures. An Anki and Dododex, those are your main gatherers right there. A Sabertooth and a Velonosaur, even a thorny dragon. And what you need for that kibble, of course, the eggs of either the whatever creature you're going to be using as your base egg maker. And then you need sava root, which once again means farming, fiber, and cooked meat jerky. That means you got to have a source of oil, and you got to be making some spark powder for the preserving bin. So now we're moving up to superior kibble. Now the smallest creature you can have for superior kibble is a moss chops. Now if you haven't watched my series, the art playthrough, moss chops by far the best first tame in the game. Now it's always a gamble if you're going to get something they want, because they're a passive tame. They could want something really rare, like a rare flower or a rare mushroom, or prime fish meat, or they could want something as simple as a mejo berry or a tinto berry. So it's always a gamble if you're going to get something, if the moss chops you're trying to tame is going to want something that you can provide or not. But by far they are the best first tame in the game, because they get so many good things. Plus you can rank up their gathering harvest settings. You can Harvest settings, options. Why am I having trouble? Where's it at? Dude, view harvesting levels. Okay, so you can increase the how much they can harvest of different materials. So by far, they are the best first tame in the game. But besides that, they make Superior Kibble, which is, 2 levels from the top. And that Superior Kibble, that gives you access to creatures like Allosauruses, Argentavises, the beaver, the wolf, the dire bear, Dunkleosauruses, the mammoth, megatheriums, parasauritheriums, snow owls, plesiosaurs, megalodons, tape jars, woolly rhinos. I mean, their kibble is, one of the highest levels. Plus, they're pretty easy tames, being passive tames. And their kibble is made with, once again, you gotta farm, fiber, eggs. You don't need this. This is, like I said, this is just to keep the stuff fresh. Rare mushrooms, which you get that by harvesting crystals, and sap. Sap's kind of hard to get. It can be gotten on every map, but it is hard to get. It is easy to get on Valguero because they have the stumps that you can just harvest with a pick and get it, even on the starting islands, the starting locations. So there's that. Now, Exceptional Kibble. This is the second to the top tier, and they're not easy to tame, but they are the smallest tame you could get. Tickle chickens, Therizzinosauruses. These guys are, they're one of the tames you want to get anyways because they're good boss fighters, because their damage per second, their DPS is very high. They take reduced damage from fire from the dragon because of their feathers. They do massive amounts of damage to bosses. They gather almost every material. So, they're something you would be taming anyways. So, why not make them one of your egg layers for your kibble farm? However, you have to make focal chili, which means you have to make, it has its own ingredients that it requires. But fiber, focal chili, mijo berries, rare mushrooms, which is kind of hard to come by on some maps, and of course eggs of your preferred creature. Now, focal chili, the ingredients for it, let's go look in the cooking pot. Consumables, crafted foods, focal chili. So you need amara berries, azul berries, citronella, which is a farming ingredient, cooked meat, which is easy enough to come by, mijo berries, and tinto berries. So, we're getting up into the top tier. Now, you can tame most anything. So say you wanted to tame something that required a regular kibble, something that required this kibble, and you didn't have this kibble, but you had this kibble, you could give it this kibble and it would work just fine. In fact, it would work as if it was a regular kibble. If you gave it a simple kibble, it wouldn't be as good of a tame, but it would be better than if you gave it prime meat or a vegetable. So kibble works better than their preferred meat or vegetable, but it doesn't work as good as their preferred kibble. Now, if you give them, say if you gave any creature the top tier kibble and they were any kibble below that, then it would work as if it was their preferred kibble. Now, for the top tier kibble, which is extraordinary kibble, there's only a few creatures that produce the eggs for this. Fertilized rock drake eggs, fertilized wyvern eggs, the golden Hesperonus eggs are these guys. Now, these guys' eggs are pretty easy to get over on Valguero. But if you have a couple of these and you transfer them to another island, to another ark, and you have them making eggs for you, then their eggs count as special eggs. So These guys are by far the best creatures to make the eggs for the extraordinary kibble. They are also the smallest creatures that can make the eggs for the extraordinary kibble. Their eggs are also the easiest to get, because I would rather face 2 of these than 2 wyverns. I would also rather swoop down on my Troyodon, grab one of their eggs, hop on my Troyodon, and fly away than to try to fly into a wyvern trench and get a wyvern egg. You can also use magmasaur eggs for this kibble. You can also use, rock drake eggs, magmasaur eggs, wyvern eggs, and golden Hesperonus eggs. But if you don't know how rare golden Hesperonus eggs are, then obviously you don't know golden Hesperonus eggs. You haven't been playing Ark. Okay, so the way to make this kibble is you got to have fertilized special eggs. Actually, I don't know if it has to be fertilized eggs. It just has to be what's considered special eggs. So I just picked up some of these. Then you have to have giant bee honey, which is kind of difficult to get unless you have SS, the SS mod or the S plus mod. Then you can make a giant beehive. You can make a giant beehive if you tame a giant bee without the SS mod or the S plus mod, but then the bees sting you every time you go get honey. The bees do not sting you with the S plus or the superstructures mod. Then you need mijo berries and fiber and Lazarus Chowder. You have to make Lazarus Chowder, which has its own requirements. So let's go look at the requirements for Lazarus Chowder. Lazarus Chowder is good in and of itself because it helps you stay underwater longer. Cooked meat, long grass, which is a farming requirement, mijo berries, narcotics, sava root, which means you got to make narcotics, which means then you have to make narcotics, which is a either you have to make it, well, surely you know how to make narcotics. I mean, if you're at the point where you're making kibble, you know how to make narcotics, okay, people? Because that means you had to have tamed some of these people with narcotics, like him. That one's a narcotics. That one's a narcotic. That one's definitely a narcotic. Those guys wake up so fast. If you don't give them narcotics, they wake up so fast and start attacking you. These you don't need narcotics for. You can just punch them out. So, folks, that is our walkthrough of kibble. So now we can begin to tame each creature that is on the island before we leave it. On our playthrough of Prov 356. I haven't made up my mind if we're going to be putting these episodes of taming each creature in the Ark Learning folder, or if we're going to be putting them in the Prov 356 episodes. So comment down below on which one you think they should be in. Maybe they should be in both. I don't know. Thank you guys for joining us. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Hit that thumbs up button. I'm not going to ask you to turn on notifications. That's between you and your own conscience. I don't do it for anybody. I don't want to be notified at 1 in the morning that somebody just put a new video out. Although most times I'm awake at 1 in the morning. So, thank you guys for joining us. Until next time, trust in the Lord.